I just want to say real quick, like I feel like it was one of those episodes where the bottom placements were gonna be the ones who messed up like a tiny bit because everybody did pretty great, and the bottom placements that we got, I feel like they were fair, you know, even though they were pretty infuriating as we're gonna see, but they were fair because there was like a tiny moment where you could see that Argennis was everybody was always in character, like in the back. Especially they spent like 3 hours on that bathtub. Like I was like, okay, the creative choice, but they were like 3 songs in the bathtub. Sorry, in the hot tub, and
Yeah, yeah.
and they and at one point, like I said, everybody was in character all the time, even if they were in the background. But Argenis at some point she was like just looking elsewhere, like she wasn't focused on
So
what she was doing. And then when we were seeing like the whole choreography and everything, there were moments where Pixie was kind of like lost in the whole thing. But like other than that, even them, like they did pretty well, you know?
so this is something that I want to talk about just for a minute or two because it's something you and I have discussed quite a bit. In that, like you said, everybody did pretty good, right? But the production is choosing to show us the moments where Argenis maybe didn't do amazing, Pixie kind of stumbled a little bit, maybe. Like that's what they're choosing to show us. They could have easily not shown us that, and if for some reason production wanted someone else in the bottom, I'm sure that if they perform these musicals twice, what if on the first go Argenis did it perfectly, and then Christian messed up or something, right? But they don't want to show us Christian messing up. They want Christian to win this, you know what I mean? So it's not, when I say that, I don't imply that the show is rigged,
Mm-hmm.
like some people think I'm saying. What I'm implying is that they film everything. And then they go, with all this footage,
How do
what
we
can
tell
we
a story?
how do we tell a story? What can we show? What do we choose not to show to
Yeah,
like form this storyline?
people forget that at the end of the day, reality TV, it's still TV, and it has to have a script. It has to have a it has to have a script. It has to have a story that they
Yeah.
have to follow, and characters and character arcs and conflict and blah blah blah. And so when you look at the big picture, yes, they needed Argenis to have this kind of like breakdown moment and then rise up again, you know, like from the ashes through a lip sync. So Argenis had to definitely be in the bottom. But then, hello. But then, when you choose between Pixie and Serena, like we get in the preview for the next episode that Serena apparently is gonna do good in the girl group challenge. So maybe they knew that she rapped, or maybe they knew that she had, you know, disability, and they wanted to keep her for that.
So
And
this
then
is my example. This is
it
my
was like
example of this.
it was like a choice between like, oh, who's gonna give? We have to give everyone a storyline, but who has the better chance to give a good story? And
So
I feel like maybe they probably ran out with Pixie. They were jamming her, you know, the past few episodes. So they probably just didn't know what to do with Pixie because she was doing great, but she wasn't giving them like a story. And then
yeah.
Serena, as much as she has been fumbling the challenges and the wrong ways, like she's about to give them a storyline, and Argenis needed this lip sync.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the you know, the decision that was the hardest to make, but like at the end of the day is the one that they had to do.
My good example of this is, and it's not to say that I don't think this queen's amazing. I do, and I love her. But in season 6, it's rumored that Adore Delano was supposed to go home in the first episode because of the quality of what she made, right?
Yeah.
But production was like, we have a Rusical coming up, our first Rusical ever, and I think we need Adore and Courtney here for this Rusical.
Yes.
Because we can, it'll sound good and we can pit them against each other. So that's why Adore stayed for a few episodes when she probably should have gone home. So that's what I mean, is like, it's not necessarily rigged, but I think they're trying, if you're telling me that RuPaul doesn't want to guide the show in as much of a direction as she can, you're kidding yourself.
I feel like queens kind of decide their fate in the first 2 or 3 episodes, because that's where you are giving production like the tools for them to be like, oh, okay, we know what to do with you, you know. But if you don't give them any tools in those first 3 episodes, like they're gonna be like, oh, so you're not disposable, but like we can get rid of you for somebody else's storyline because you're not giving us something to make TV out of. It doesn't have to do with your talent. It doesn't have to do with your runways, whatever. It just, we don't have a story to tell with you. You know what I mean? And sometimes they do make mistakes. For example, I personally, like, I feel like, for example, oh my God, what even was her name? Iris? No, it wasn't Iris. It was Irene. Irene, yes, Irene DuBois. Irene DuBois this last season. Like, I feel like they got rid of her way too fast. Like, I feel like she could have been there for a couple more episodes because she had the conflict and she had the drama and she had like the rivalry with Mistress and blah, blah, blah. And so, for example, that is a specific decision that I think wasn't like very smart in terms of like the potential that had, you know. Or everybody always mentions Derrick VS going home first on All Stars. You know, like, girl, you had it right there, that rivalry between her and India. Like, you could have done so many things with that, and you got rid of it in your first episode. So it's like, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Whatever.
Well, I mean, but that might be a failing of, say, Derrick, who goes in the first episode to India, is like, well, here's what happened with us, and da-da-da. If you held that a little bit closer, maybe for an episode or two.
Which is what Alyssa and Coco did. Alyssa and Coco, they were like,
oh, well, we're not going to talk. We're not going to talk about.
We have something to talk about, but we're not going to talk about it today. Yes.
And I think at one point Alyssa does say, or Coco does say, "Oh no, we're going to talk about it."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So the other thing, though, I want to mention about this is that if you watch the episode with the Rusical in season 6, the mini challenge that they do, Ru names Adore and Ben de la Creme the winners of that challenge, right? Because they're going to do teams. Ru could have very easily said, Adore, you choose first.
Yes.
And then what would you have done? Obviously, you're going to pick Courtney.
Yes.
You're going to choose Courtney because she's the one of the best singers there, besides Adore. And then you have this power team, right? That's not what Ru does. Ru says, Ben de la Creme, you choose first. She chooses Courtney. And then now you have a rivalry, right?
Let's also remember that challenge, that mini challenge was the infamous female or S-male challenge, which was cut. And so now we get like, they walk straight into like, oh, so you two pick, and it's kind of weird. But the thing about that specific challenge, if it were still there, is that it's a challenge that is so easily, you know, kind of like modifiable, you know, for
that's the other thing, like, is that like,
most you win. Yeah, exactly.
Right. Most of the mini challenges are they're like, meh, they're whatever, right? And what they're there for is so RuPaul can choose someone who either has a storyline or who either, you know what I mean? Like, to go, oh, you won. Now I need you to make the teams or put the teams together, or you get to choose the order. Because then, like, if that queen has a rivalry with somebody or someone just did something to them, it's all for the storytelling, right? It seems obvious to me that the mini J word this week will be about TV production.
Well, I don't know. Let's just continue.